Hi there, I'm your English coach Christina, and welcome to Speak English with Christina, where you'll learn American culture and business know-how to become confident in English. We're back for our fourth and final week of summer school revision, and this week it's all about vocabulary, vocabulary, vocabulary. Everyone always wants more English vocabulary, and they're right. Vocabulary is the building blocks of language. You need it to construct your message, just like you need bricks to build a school. And for our final revision session, let's build your vocabulary. Expressions like get to, get across, and get on with, we use these expressions all the time. We thought that you guys would enjoy this episode on phrasal verbs with get. And our first phrasal verb today is to get to or to get into. And this verb means to arrive at a place. In casual conversation, it's a lot more common to say get to or get into. I get into New York at 3 o'clock. What time do you usually get into work? Or what time do you usually get to work? Me, I usually get to work around 7:30 or 8. And you? The expression get back means to return to a place. Earlier, you learned get to arrive. Well, if you get into work at 8, maybe you get back home at 6. And there are also other definitions of to get back, but this one, to return to a place, is probably the most common. Here, we're talking about the figurative sense of to get across, which is to communicate. We often use this as part of the chunk to get your message across, to communicate your message. Maybe you feel like it's hard to get your precise message across in English because you lack vocabulary. Or you want to get your message across quickly, but you have to think to find your words. Well, now you know one more expression to get your message across, to communicate your message. To get on with something means to proceed with or to continue. Do you sometimes feel that your English is a little too basic? You're stuck using simple sentences. Well, guess what? Today's episode on Linkwords, also called connectors, is going to up your English game and help you sound more sophisticated. Let's look at Linkwords. These are expressions like especially, however, and what's more. So these can be single words or expressions, and we can use them for lots of different functions, like pointing out something specific, showing contrast, adding more information, or other things like giving the consequence of another action. I love Italian food, especially the desserts. We use especially to add detail or to be more specific. To connect those two ideas and to go from general to specific, I use the link word especially. I've never been to New York City. However, I have been to Chicago. We use however to show contrast between two ideas. However, is similar to the simpler connector, but, which you probably already know. And I could say, I've never been to New York City, but I have been to Chicago. What's the difference, you ask? Well, however, tends to be a little more formal. We use it more in writing and in more formal speaking, but is more conversational, and you'll use it more often. We use what's more to add information and to emphasize that additional information. It's similar to the link words moreover, in addition, and furthermore. What's more is more conversational. I liked the movie. What's more, the music was pretty cool. There you have it, 3 super useful link words to level up your English. Have you ever noticed that sometimes there's a big difference between the expressions you learn in school and the way Americans really talk? You hear these expressions a lot, and you have no idea what they mean. But all that's going to change today, so you can start understanding Americans when they talk fast and when they use expressions like, what does it mean? Am not, is not, are not, or have not? Depends on the context. For example, you might hear, I ain't feeling too well, to mean, I'm not feeling too well. Or as my teachers used to say, ain't in the dictionary, which means the word ain't isn't in the dictionary. Technically speaking, it's not correct English to say ain't, but guess what? A lot of Americans use it anyway. Spoken English isn't always correct school English. We use it mostly when telling a story about something that happened or summarizing a discussion that we had with someone else. I was talking to my mom on the phone the other day, and I was like, where do you want to go for dinner? And she was like, I don't know, let me ask your dad what he wants to do. I could have also said, I said, and she said. We more often use, I was like. We also use it to describe reactions to something someone tells us. My sister told me she was going to create her own dance school, and I was like, that's so cool. I want to take lessons. How come you want to go to Disney World? How come you don't want to go to the beach? It means why. But instead of saying, why didn't you tell me? You'll often hear Americans say, how come you didn't tell me? If you want to get the American Accent Survival Kit, what you want to do is go to ChristinaRubafe.com. And then what you want to do is click on bonuses and then the survival kit. And then what you want to do is sign up to get it for free. And that's how we give instructions in English. The expression to catch up means a few different things. I'll catch up with you later means I'll join you later. Expression in English. If you don't use it, you lose it. Basically, without practice and using your English, or any skill, you lose the habit of doing it. And for vocabulary, it's the same. If you want new vocabulary to stick in your head and be easy to use in conversations, you have to use it in conversations. In other words, you need practice. Do you remember the Faster Fluency Conversation Club that I told you about earlier this month? The club makes it easy to practice regularly, and because you get a conversation guidebook and exercises, you learn new vocabulary each week. New vocabulary plus regular practice equals more confidence in English conversations. And the Faster Fluency Conversation Club starts next week with 3 sessions a week every month at half of the previous price. I know, it sounds almost too good to be true, but it is true. All the details on how to join the Faster Fluency Conversation Club are in the notes below. I'll put a link in there for you. And that's it for our summer school revision sessions. Next week, we'll be back with our regular Speak English with Christina episodes. So I will see you then.